it's Belana Sparking the Self with another astrological energy forecast. This will be for the week of September 8th to the 14th of 2025. Thank you for clicking onto my video. If you are a returning member, subscriber, or viewer, welcome back, Soul Family. It's good to see you guys again. I hope you are doing well. Thank you for your likes, your shares, your comments, subscribe, super thanks, and donations. I truly appreciate them all. And if you are new to the channel, welcome. It's good to see a new face here. Now, I do pull oracle cards just to give you the overall energy for the week. Please note that this is a general oracle card reading, therefore the messages will not and may not resonate with everyone. So please take what resonates with you in your particular situation and leave the rest. Please don't try to make it fit. If the story doesn't fit, if it's not resonating with you, it just means I'm not picking up on your energy, which is perfectly okay. Which goes into in the areas of legal, law, finance, health, mental health. Please know that I'm not an expert in those areas, nor do I claim to be, and if I mention them at all, it is what my intuition picking up on, or it's literally on the cards themselves. However, if it truly resonates for you, I highly encourage you to speak to those experts in those areas of expertise. I am also the author. I'll work at both fairy tales in my hands here. The Princess and Her Inner Voice, which is a fairy tale written for children about their intuition, what it is, how it speaks to them, and how if they listen to it, it can help them to overcome all obstacles, help them to heal from all traumas, as well as get them to their happy ending in whichever way that looks for them. It is a very self-love and self-worth-based fairy tale. As well as the Dark High Priestess and the Prophecy Queen Unseen. This is a fairy tale written for adults about healing and overcoming spiritual warfare and narcissistic abuse from family and friends. It's told through the viewpoint of a divine feminine who realizes that her own mother has cursed her life and tried to offer her up to an entity in exchange for wealth, and she had anybody and everybody on the payroll. So this divine feminine had to cut everybody off because she couldn't trust anyone. So that way she could reclaim her power, cleanse out her energy, so that way she could be in alignment with her soul purpose, which does consist of being in a high vibrational soulmate or twin flame union. Both of these fairy tales are written in the bard format, which means that they rhyme. So think like the content of Grimm's fairy tales and the format of Dr. Seuss. They are written and illustrated in such a way to heal and appeal to your inner child as you read them. They're short, they're sweet, they inspire hope, and they make you feel good as you read them. The audiobooks have been released, will be attached to this video for convenience. However, if you truly wish to purchase the physical copies, thank you. You can find them on online or retail, such as Amazon, Walmart, and Barnes & Noble, to name a few. The Princess and Her Inner Voice is second edition print, which means that the autographs first edition, as well as my products, can find on my website, which is www.aspiraltotheself.com. All of the information will be in the description box below for your convenience, as well as all my social media platforms and pages, so that way you do not get scammed by people or pages pretending to be me. Before I get into it and channel any kind of messages, I like to say a prayer here just to control the energy. I call upon God, Bandra, Great Goddess more than 33, Lu, the archangels, my ancestors, and the seen unseen. Please don't allow this reading and forecast what I call upon, which is high vibrational energy and frequency. If any low vibrational anti-swings and energy try to come through or try to astral project, open a portal, remote, view, be monitoring spirit, and the past, present, or the future, I ask that you block, mind, and blind, and immediately return to center and fold, which I give you full consent to intervene and to intercede on my behalf, whichever way you deem fit. Please allow me to see what you want the collective to know by clear, concise messages. If any try to abuse technology any kind of way by trying to take a screenshot, astral project, open a portal, remote, view, monitoring spirit, and that's set, in the past, present, and the future, I ask that you block, mind, and blind, and immediately return to center and fold, which will give you full consent to hold them accountable and bring them justice in your way. Please protect me, this channel, the video, and the viewers. I deliver this divinely guided message. Any cursed, sex, evil, eye, black magic, witchcraft findings, let them be blocked, by and blinded, and immediately return to sender 100-fold. The sender's mask ripped off, they'll be able to hide all their lies, deceit, and ill intentions will become exposed and publicly known. Alrighty, my lovely collective. So, as always, we begin with the background energy, which is the retrograde, which means that planet goes backwards in its motion, and we have quite a few, so I'm going to get all into it. So we have Pallas retrograde, which will be in retrograde till October 4th of 2025. This is where you're questioning established ways of thinking and working in groups for humanitarian causes. Then we have Pluto retrograde, which will be in retrograde until October 13th of 2025. This is where you're challenging the status quo. There's societal shifts. This is where we're purging old belief systems here. We're going through revolutionary changes, as well as there could be some kind of power dynamics. Then we have Ceres retrograde, which will be in retrograde until November 21st of 2025. This is where you're re-examining relationships, healing wounds, and practicing that self-care. We have Saturn retrograde, which will be in retrograde until November 27th. This is where you're reevaluating past decisions, inner restructuring, spiritual growth, delays, and persevering through, as well as it's going to change signs into Pisces. So it's going to have you do some deep unconscious healing, bringing things that are in the subconscious, unconscious to the forefront so that way you can heal it, as well as to see past any kind of illusions. Then we have Neptune retrograde, which will be in retrograde until December 11th of 2025. This is an energetic shift from the group into focusing on the self. It's a high energy of reclaiming your sovereignty over self. Then we have Chiron retrograde, which will be in retrograde until January 1st of 2026. This is where you're healing a very specific wound to transmute that wound into power, into blessings for you, because that particular wound is keeping you is holding you back from being where you need to be. But also there's some kind of blessing here that once you turn this pain into power will come your way. Then we have Uranus retrograde, which will be in retrograde until February 3rd of 2026. This is where you're trusting your own inner guidance, you're blocking old patterns, and you're becoming your most authentic self. Now, before I get into the weekly energies, I love to broadcast my shirt here. This shirt is a famous saying from the fellow high vibrational tarot reader on YouTube, Miss Linda Likes Tarot. Okay, she's got many, many sayings, such as like hot diggity dang, which is my personal favorite. The no weirdo formed against me shall prosper. The I'm not your mama, I'm not your daddy, I'm your reader, which means that like I can just give you the facts. Like it's up to you to use your discernment on what you should do in your own situation. Also things like gaggle of bitches, a herd of hoes. Okay, so there's plenty of things that she has. If you check out her website, which is www.occultlifestyle.com, I'll put in the description box for you. Again, check out her channel, Linda Likes Tarot. She's a high vibrational tarot reader, okay, and she truly is very talented. She's very accurate with what she says, and there's a myriad of ways that she communicates those messages to where it's entertaining. So check her out, check out her merch that is her famous sayings, but also other things like smudging kits, and you get further along on your spiritual journey. Now getting into the weekly energy here. So weekly. So for the entire week of September 8th to 14th, you may have to withdraw as you face conflict with grace, as you initiate the changes needed to transmute a wound into power that will assist you with overcoming the obstacle of emotional growth that will help you to facilitate deeper connections. So Spirit, what kind of emotional growth is the collective going to have this week? What kind of emotional growth is the collective overcoming this week? What kind of emotional growth is the collective overcoming this week? Aligning with your wholeness. So essentially you are not a label, okay? You are not your illness, symptom, habit. You, the person, are always whole and perfect. So essentially you're ditching any kind of labels. Like, for instance, like if you're a mother, you're more than just being a mother, okay? Because like a lot of women go through some kind of midlife crisis when their children have left the house. They've identified under that label of mother all this time. Now they don't know what to do with themselves. You are not a label here. It says you're blending together all of your talents to help you create an energy signature that holds within it your authentic creative expression. So again, like you're not a label. You yourself are multi-talented. You are a combination of all your gifts. So, you know, ditch the label here so that way you can facilitate deeper connections with other people. Because it may be a bumpy ride to this new beginning. 1212 is the angel number here. It may be a bumpy ride. However, it's the obstacles, it's the ups and downs that helps you get further along. So let that be confirmation for you if that's something that you've been struggling with or that you will struggle with this week. Also this week is that you are in this free spirit type energy. However, you're going to go through some kind of struggle that will be a character affirming experience for you, where you're going to need to trust your intuition as well as block old patterns, shift your focus onto yourself, as well as reevaluate long held beliefs that no longer serve you. Spirit, tell us about this character affirming struggle. What is this character affirming struggle that the collective is going to experience this week? What is this character affirming struggle? What is this character affirming struggle, Spirit? When it comes to your intuition and manifestations and having to isolate from conflict. So you're in this free spirit type of energy. You may need to isolate, okay? Which means keep to yourself. Keep to yourself, you know, and that's a heavy energy this week as well when I get into the daily energy, okay? There's a time period later in the week where you need to pause and time out and focus on your spiritual practices like meditate, because you're going too fast of a pace and you need to slow down so you can listen to your intuition, because it's going to provide you with something that you need, and that's exactly what it's saying here. Your intuition is trying to tell you what it is that you are manifesting next, or a manifestation that's coming in, and you need to isolate because there could be some conflict that's brewing that you need to get away from, and you need to go within to listen to your own self, okay, to listen to your intuition, to get rid of all that background noise that's, you know, preventing you from being able to listen to your own intuition, your own higher self, your own inner voice here that's trying to guide you on whatever it is that you need to do. Like because when it comes to conflict, the very first one that we just went over said that you may have to withdraw as you face conflict with grace. Essentially, you're not giving your attention, your energy to things that don't serve you, that have no purpose in your life. Like say, like drama. You don't have fucking time for that. Like it's time of your life that you're never going to get back. So you may need to isolate, okay? From September 10th to the 13th, You being very calculated, focusing on facts and logic, being hardworking, and maybe having a perfectionist attitude is detrimental to being able to receive any kind of intuitive guidance. Okay, and that's a very heavy theme this week as well, is where you need to slow down, stop focusing too much on the facts, stop trying to be so logical and over analyzing things, because like you're blocking your own intuition when you do that. Like you're essentially communicating to your own self, your own intuition, that you don't trust yourself, and therefore like it blocks it, like it creates a block for your third eye chakra to function properly. Now, getting into the daily energy. So September 8th, we have the moon in Aries. Just know that you're right where you need to be. Okay, keep moving even if times are hard. Just know that also rest is very crucial, especially if you've come to the very end of a long and arduous journey. Things may not be as they seem, so trust your intuition on what it is that you need to do, where you need to take action at. September 9th, Mercury contra-parallels Mars, Venus squares Lilith, and there's a Perseid meteor shower peak day. Meteor shower peak days are lucky, okay? There is going to be some kind of injustice towards people that have no power, that people are really going to pick up on and be upset about. And it's because there's going to be someone here that is, you know, trying to overpower said people. And it's going to be very obvious to everyone else, but this person, they're unable to see the picture clearer. They don't know that they're in the wrong, okay? But people are going to understand this. And again, if you look in the political climate, it makes sense, okay? Like, but then on the everyday here, it's just there's some kind of injustice. Like this could even be like within the home. Say like one of you, say as a parent, one of you could be seeing things one way, but everyone else is seeing that like, no, like you're just a little tired, you're a little snippy, like you need to go lay down, or you know, have some meditative time or self-care time because like you're being kind of a jerk, right? And everybody in that house is gonna, know that, but say like maybe that person, because they're tired and things like that, they're taking out on like say like the kids or something like that. So it's like people are going to be upset at this kind of injustice with those who have no power, and it's going to be very noticeable. There we go. It'll be very noticeable to everyone else other than this person, okay? Just know that, again, this is where being too pressed on facts and being logical creates emotional distance and will strain any possibility to forge any kind of deep connections with other people. Healing can happen if you're loyal, you don't give up, and you're creative. So just keep going. Again, so this is like giving me the kind of energy of like within the home, there could be some kind of rift. Just know that there could be healing there as long as you guys have the determination to not give up on each other, that your assured success, you will have your desired outcome as long as you keep going, like you don't stop. But then again, it's like how I'm seeing this is like, one person here is being too factual, being too analytical, and they're putting up pressure. Like it gives like the whole, pressuring your kids to do or be a certain type of way, and one parent thinks the other parent's being too hard, but the other parent's like, well, no, the statistics say this, and the facts say this, and you're just like, well, you're being a jerk, so like go sit down somewhere, please. Like you're being a tyrant at the moment, and it's unnecessary, right? September 10th, Sun oppositions North Node, Moon goes in sign of Taurus, and Sun sextiles Lilith. Again, focusing on details and overextending yourself will strain your intuition's effectiveness, again, because you're essentially communicating that you don't trust it, and it's gonna be upset about that. You need to go at a slow and steady pace. Don't settle for something just because it appears to be your only option. There will be many opportunities to be of service to others as well as to heal yourself without abandoning yourself, okay? Like doing things at the detriment to yourself. September 11th, Mercury oppositions North Node. Just know that the truth is right in front of you. You don't need to keep like searching and, looking for details here. The truth is in front of your face, okay? And your intuition is going to tell you that like it's right here, but the more you keep trying to overanalyze and get all up in your head about it, you're going to weaken your intuition. Just know again that you are on the right path. You may need to leave others behind and nurture emotional wounds. Again, we saw that card, isolation. You need to isolate. You need to, withdraw from any kind of conflict here. Then we have September 12th, Sun sextiles Jupiter, Mercury sextiles both Jupiter and Lilith, and the moon goes into the sign of Gemini. Okay, this is where there's that pause period where you need to meditate in order for your intuition to lead you to the right information on the best ways to nurture yourself and your family, as well as how to effectively communicate in order to facilitate that healing. So you need to like have a pause time out moment so that way you can like get your head right, and that way you can communicate in a way that like everybody understands and it's effective. Then we have September 13th, Sun conjunctions Mercury. Vesta goes into the sign of Sagittarius. Vesta is in Sagittarius until November 15th of 2025. This is where you're essentially being a free spirit and being fully committed to living out your soul's truth. But also this day, just know that you're in a cycle of purging beliefs that no longer serve you. It's a favorable day to present facts effectively in communication. Then September 14th, the very end of the week, we have the moon in Cancer. This is where you're harvesting the fruits of your labor. Your intuition will tell you that you need to, take a risk, try something new, go out into nature with your family to heal. Now, the chakra that coincides with this week's energies is called, there's two names for it because it's like once you get after the 7th chakra, the numbers and the names change. So on some areas of the internet and in books, it'll be considered the casual chakra, but then in some internet and some books, it will be considered the soul star chakra. But what you need to know about it is that it extends above your head here. Okay, it's the portal into and out of the time-space continuum. This is the house of your Akashic records. All records of all we have seen, done, or said in this life or any other. You have the book of life here, which is only positive perspectives that occurred or can happen. Then you have the shadow records that are what was never done, said, or thought. It's alternate possible outcomes of possible futures, okay? And again, it's located 1.5 inches above your head. The color can be seen as black, as it's our ability to absorb energy. However, it can turn to silver to signify that your energy conduit is clear. Again, when we go through the whole energy forecast for the week, it's where you have to isolate. You need to reconnect with your intuition, and you keep focusing too much on facts or being too logical, it's going to weaken it because your intuition is trying to get your attention here. And I did the reading for Vesta and Sagittarius. I'll attach it to this video for you. And it says that many of you are going through another portal, going through another awakening. Now, you have the beginning awakening that gets it to where you are, heightening your vibration, heightening your consciousness. You're being awakened to the path to your soul's purpose, being in your north node. But you go through several initiations. You go through several transformations. And that's where many of you are at this point, is you're at a transformation here. And it's going to be very exhausting. It's going to be kind of, where you feel depleted all the time. It's because you're being integrated. You're receiving downloads, you're receiving codes, your body is changing as you level up. Essentially, that's what it is. You've leveled up, which means you need rest. But it's also giving you that information that you need. Again, like Akashic Records information. Many of you are in touch with your Akashic Records, but it's also, listening to your intuition on what's next. You've reached a milestone, you went through the Lionsgate portal, and we're in eclipse season, so things that are no longer supposed to be in your life or beneficial for your journey, it's getting cut out, it's being deadened, right? And then now you're going through this transformation because you're getting a level up, but level ups aren't as easy as people make it seem, okay? I laugh about all the time in collective tarot readings when you have people that destiny swap or, try to transfer destinies and shit like that. It's funny to me because it means that you are willfully deciding to go on another's path, not knowing how difficult it was to get to that point. They just see the rewards, they see the blessings, but they don't know what it took to get there. And by destiny swapping, you don't get to just go straight to the reward, straight to the cookie, right? No, you got to now prove that you are worth all those blessings, all those abundances that person has earned. So say if you are someone who has gifts and you've been under spiritual warfare for most of your life, okay, you had to go through spiritual warfare. You had to go through a lot of obstacles. You had to pay karmic debt. You had to go through, trials to make sure that you were worthy of your gifts, that you wouldn't abuse them, right? And say if that took you 20 years, a person trying to do some kind of destiny swap or, something like that, they've now signed up for that, but they don't have the anointing. They don't have the protection. They don't have your sense of will. They're not you, they don't have your fight. They don't have any of that. And they're trying to put themselves on a path that was perfected for specifically you and your soul's evolution, and they try to go down and knowing that they're not equipped to even handle it. So it's like, it's funny to me here, but you know, people are dumb and they're that lost and lack mentality, and they'll do whatever they do to only destroy their lives. So let them. You know, it's like how they used to say, you know, take the warning labels off of, you know, very obvious things. It's like taking the warning label off obvious things in the spiritual community. You're doing shit that's dumb. You know, you don't know what you're signing up for, you know, by doing that. But that's exactly what this is giving. Like, you're getting access to your Akashic records, you're leveling up, but it's exhausting. It's going to take a toll on your body, which is why there's that need to isolate, to recharge, to meditate at least an hour a day, okay, or do something to provide yourself with self-care for an hour a day. Make sure you're getting plenty of rest. Make sure you're drinking your water, okay. Many of you may even have like a taste difference, like your own taste buds are differentiating. Like you may be called to eat different foods, to do different things as your body goes through this transformation. So just listen to your intuition, so that way you know what to do. The yang function of this chakra relates to the ways we are living out our karma. The yin function is the ability to hold memory and serve as our personal records. So again, you have a lot of memory here that you just need to be able to get that meditative state to access. But then again, karma is a big thing too. Karma right now is coming, okay? Again, with that whole eclipse, like every time I've done a collective tarot reading, even when I do the astrological events, okay, astrologically it's backing it, the collective tarot readings are backing it. It's like this eclipse is bringing people's karma because it's a very end of some kind of cycle, okay? Meaning like if people are still trying to attack you spiritually or doing crazy shit, like everything's being exposed. I don't know if you've noticed that, but you know, with the eclipse season being here, it's ruling over the Virgo Pisces axis, which rules over your 6th house, which is, you know, the details, the plans, your health, but then also the 12th house, which is, you know, anything that's hidden, secrets, you know, subconscious things that are going on, hidden enemies, things like that. Like all of that is coming out. Like you're seeing it politically, you're seeing it, you know, you're seeing justice being served, and it's coming, okay? So karma payout is here. Like there's a lot of car accidents now. Like you almost think that it's like Mercury retrograde, but it's not. Like there's a lot of karma being paid out. People are going to die. And I don't say that lightly. This is for the people that kept doing like unaliving spells and trying to make people sick and weak, trying to fragment their energy, psychically attack them, things like that. There's going to be death here for these people. Like it's coming up to them. Like don't think anyone ever got away with doing shit. No, it's been stored, and now that the cycle's closed, now that's just going to come back to them full force. Okay, because you've learned the lesson. Now you're getting the blessing again, and the proof is in the pudding. You're going through a transformation with this Vesta and Sagittarius. Your spirit is being freed, and anyone trying to stop you from henceforth on is just going to literally cut the nose off to spite the face. They're going to dig their own grave. Okay, like they're going to go through poverty. They're going to go through, you know, especially if they're trying to do energy siphoning, abundance transfers, things like that. They're going to go through poverty here. Like their own shit's gonna get exposed. Like say there's a lot of deception going on, a lot of lies, slander, defamation, all that's getting exposed. You're gonna see court cases, re-examining documents, you know, going over documents for fraud and things like that, because these justice officials, their own intuitions are piqued, and they're waking up and they're seeing past illusions. So they're gonna see everything that's giving them a red flag, and they're gonna start going through stuff. So like many of you are going to have justice. If that is something that you have been praying for or wanting or trying to manifest, you're going to get justice in the 3D and the 5D. These people have already been held in spiritual court, and as above, so below. Now it's really coming. And that's why, like, that's the reason for this week. Like, you are going through a transformation. You're being integrated. You are getting a level up spiritually, okay? Which means more blessings, more abundance, more happiness, you being further in alignment with your purpose. But then people who kept trying to hold you back in whichever kind of way, either spiritually or physically, right? Like, they're gonna pay for it. And I fully mean that. Like, I'm not just shooting the shit. Like, people are going to pay for it through poverty, through death, through sickness, through jail time, through humiliation, okay? Everything's going to be exposed. And people are going to get either lump sum good karma or lump sum bad karma during this eclipse season. So just brace yourself. And because Samhain's coming up, and that's a big pagan holiday, but most importantly, it's a big pagan holiday for those who do black magic and do human sacrifices and things like that. The people who did that human sacrifice, energy siphoning, destiny swaps on the Samhain of 2024, that whole cycle is closed, and now there's a debt to be repaid, and they will pay with their lives. So it's like up until Samhain, there's a debt to be repaid. Some will pay with their lives, some will pay with their health, some will pay with their own abundance and foundations. It's just going to happen. And it's like, it's coming. This is the closeout of a chapter, and you have ascended, you have successfully passed your last integration, your last tests and trials, and now, you know, things that are no longer serving you are being eclipsed out, and you're moving on and up while everyone else is paying that debt that's here to be repaid. This is a chakra that's the source of time, timelessness, karma, soul relationships, and portals. It's a place that regulates our destiny points and our ability to change them. Problems: if this chakra is on misalignment malfunction, you can have time issues like being too late or being too early, metabolism issues, having difficult relationships, any kind of personal trauma that's carried over from a previous life. Addictions relate to absorbing others' energies, which we then crave substances, drugs, stimulants, and depressives. Okay. Health tips to put this chakra in alignment is your diet, doing a shaman diet, you know, eating fruits and veggies, limiting your salt and sugar intake, drinking a lot of water, and limiting meat. Okay. Meat lowers the vibration, and it makes you at the vibrational level. So say if you are a person who's been targeted by like death magic, things like that, meat and your body, put your body at a resonant level for that witchcraft to hold on to. So like, say for me personally, I like meat, and I was comfortable eating it the way that I was eating it when it came to like how I bought it, and, you know, like the morality and things behind it. But I've been vegetarian for over 1.5 years because of the spiritual aspects by it. Like, you know, if you're someone who has a lot of death magic and unaliving and people trying to make you a human sacrifice and things like that, it can't attach to you if you aren't eating dead flesh. And then going into like getting out of caffeine and alcohol and things like that, that significantly lowers your vibration. So you should, if you're wanting to go through this, you need to cut that out. Okay. But also you can visualize that if you put your hands up here, you can feel the energy. And if you visualize it, like listen to your mind's eye. I know it's kind of weird to say, but like if you see it as black, visualize it turning into silver to indicate that you are unblocking that chakra. I also have 144 hertz as well as 741 and 963 hertz that's playing in the background of this video. 144 hertz is good to keep your intuition open. It's high vibrational. It's also the same frequency that if you've ever received any kind of like ear ringing, the high pitched ear ringing, it's like, which is signifying that the angels are trying to give you messages. It's the same frequency as that. So like if you're trying to clear the clutter up here or, you know, get clarity, 963 hertz, which is the crown. Then you have 852, which is your third eye chakra. 144 is like just keeping your higher consciousness, high vibration, your intuition. Okay. But then you also have 741, which is your throat chakra, which will also cleanse out your aura, like of any kind of like negative energy or, you know, debris or sickness or things like that. So I will attach a playlist at the very end of this video that has all the frequencies for you for your convenience. Okay. All right, my collective, I hope I was able to adequately prepare you for this week. If you like my vibe in this video, please like and subscribe. Definitely helps out the channel. Please stay tuned for a brief little snippet of the Dark High Priestess, the Prophecy Queen Unseen